There's an old saying that goes all the way back to the Bible that the borrower is slave to the lender, and I believe that to be true. I've also held some other beliefs, like debt is a tool that can advance you getting to your goals, but you become a slave to that debt, and it's very risky and it causes stress in your life. And when you're in business, it can be a little bit different than as an individual, and I want to kind of talk about all of that. And I want to talk about how it's going to affect my equipment that I use every day on the channel, because there's some big changes coming there that we'll get into later. Right now, I want to talk about this house. This house right here, I bought 5 years ago for $14,000. And it was in pretty rough shape. I called it the fun house because it was like walking through a fun house. And this wall over here was bowed out, where it wasn't even on the concrete block anymore. It was hanging out about 10 or 12 inches, and you could see the bow from the edge. I had to take the wall apart inside and out and draw it back in and reattach it. And the amount of work I did on this house honestly was pretty insane. I lived here for, I didn't live here, but I was here every day, all day, for about 6 to 9 months doing it all myself. We replaced a bunch of siding. We put all new windows in the house, new doors. The doors weren't brand new, they were used, but all new doors and windows. I added the gutters. I put in a raised rock driveway because the yard was all muddy. I replaced all of the electrical. I replaced every bit of the plumbing with PEX from inside the house out to the road. And I did this as an investment because I got really bought into the idea of investing in real estate as a way to build wealth over time. And I believe all those principles are true, but the way it's affecting my stress level on an everyday basis has not been worth it when I have, well, I guess I have 2. But if you had 100 of them and you could pay someone to manage them, it might be different. So investing in real estate actually builds wealth in 4 ways. You have appreciation of the property, you have tax savings, you have monthly rental income, and you have debt pay down. So technically, there are 4 ways you're increasing your net worth. But for me personally, it's happening on such a small scale with this property that it's not worth the extra stress that it brings. So the realtor is supposed to be here in the next 15 minutes, and he's gonna help me set a sale price on the house, and we're gonna see if we can get out from under this and maybe leave the deal with a little bit of cash. And it might have been confusing earlier when I talked about it, but I did all of this paid cash. I bought the house cash, I did all the repairs cash, everything, and I spent about $35,000 on it, and it appraised, I believe, for $55,000, and I was able to borrow 85% of the home's worth, and that allowed me to walk away from this with more money than I started with and have a cash flowing rental house. And that's a method called BRRRR, which is buy, renovate, refinance, repeat. It's a process of how you build a real estate portfolio, but I only did it once. So anyway, real estate agent's on his way here. Let's take a quick look around the house, inside the house, so I can admire one last time the work I did, and then we'll go back to my house, and we're gonna take a look at my equipment and what I have loans on and what I think about that. Okay, so here's how I raised this. I put down railroad ties and then about 12 inches of rock. We added a gutter on the front to divert water away. Now, that gutter here is broke off, but that runs out to the ditch. And the house was a different color. After replacing the windows and some of the siding, painted it this blue color, did all the trim in white. We painted the eaves. They're all energy efficient windows. I pressure washed all the concrete and then sealed it up with a concrete caulking. Didn't do a whole lot back here. I did paint the underside of the back porch. See, all these are new windows. This is a solid wood door. It was old when I got it, but we did replace that too. It had the old electrical setup that was like 40 amp service. It wasn't even 100 amp. And we went with the 200 amp electrical service. They keep the house immaculately clean. This is my grandkids' names. There's Zayden that you see helping me out all the time. We put wall-to-wall luxury vinyl plank flooring in. New cabinets. These were just cabinets from Lowe's. It had big metal cabinets in it that were from the 1950s, I think. And when I bought the house, when you stood right here and walked this way to the cabinets, you dropped like a foot. So we got the new electrical service here. Got a brand new hot water heater whenever I was working on it. So by doing all the work myself and living in a place with the low cost of living, I didn't show you the whole house, but this is 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And we turned there was a hallway that served no purpose, and we used that to build in a big closet for 1 bedroom. And then we built like a little pantry with shelves where the closet or the hallway used to be. But by doing all this myself, I was able to have this entire thing in the condition you see it now for under $40,000, which is not too shabby. So that rental house is in a tiny little town of 4,000 people. And there's one guy who does most of the houses in the town. And so he's got a really good grasp on the market and the pricing. And he said I'm going to come out really good on that house selling it, which may take away some of my other concerns. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about the other equipment I've got loans on. So we're mainly going to talk about 4 things today. You've already seen the rental house. I have no regrets on buying that and the fact that now it's going to have a return for me. This is the only thing that I do have a regret about. Whenever I started doing what I do and I haul equipment from here to there, I regretted the purchase of this truck. Because doing that, I needed an HD truck that I could rely on. But I didn't need the most expensive truck I could find, which you can spend $120K on a truck. But I spent $83,000 on this truck, and I didn't have $83,000. I put $5,000 down, and I got a great interest rate. But this is going to be upside down. It's upside down now. I couldn't sell it if I wanted to. But I would gladly sell this truck for what it's worth and get myself a $25,000 truck. I think that's a case of getting ahead of myself. I was making some pretty good money with my other business, and I felt like I got this mindset that if I can make the payment, then I can afford it. And that's true. If you can make the payment, you can afford to get it. But I don't remember if this loan's 5 years or 6 years. I think it might be 5 years. But regardless, that entire time, that becomes a noose around your neck. Life changes, you shut down a business, you lose a job, someone in your family gets sick, the economy drops. The debt on this becomes a noose around you. And every time you look at the truck, you think about that debt, not how much you like the truck. And this is the nicest vehicle I've ever been in. The features on it, the performance, everything about this truck is phenomenal and it's perfect for what I do. But I shouldn't have spent this much money on it. I took offense to some of the comments about my truck because people made it so personal. Like only an idiot would buy a truck like that. And I came out pretty strong with the stance that if someone can afford something, it's not your business to complain about it. But at the heart of it, if I really look at it, I'm not wealthy. That's a wealthy man's truck, and I'm not wealthy. Now, all the green equipment in this building is financed with my tractor. The mower is not. I had 2 John Deere mowers that I had loans on, and that's because I was going to start a mowing business. And if you have a mowing business, you might be able to make the case that financing 2 mowers makes sense. But if they're not making you any money, that's a lot to carry 2 payments so that you can cut grass. Now, I was an extremely lucky person. I got a deal with Hustler. I sold both my mowers. I came out of that pretty good. And this is a phenomenal mower. But in this position I was in, I had an $8,000 mower and a $7,000 mower. And a $4,000 mower would have been just fine. So that was just my eyes being bigger. I thought I was going to have a mowing business. I really did. I believed it. I had the trailer. It was all set up perfectly. But I was having trouble being profitable, and the math wasn't working. It was hard work for the amount of money I was making mowing. So I gave up mowing and sold everything. The trailer, almost all the equipment, and that was a weight off my shoulders. Now, let's go look at the tractor. All right, next thing we need to talk about is the tractor itself. I love this tractor like one of my kids. It's like your first car that you always think, man, I wish I could get that one back. Maybe depending on what it was. Mine was a 72 Mustang that was in pretty rough shape, but it'd make some noise and it'd move pretty quick. And kind of have a nostalgia for something like that. I love this tractor. I will always love this tractor. It's a case of, a lot of people seem to think I have a negative opinion about it, because whenever I go look at another model of any brand, I say, these are the things I like about this one better than mine. And I'm kind of enthusiastic or positive about almost everything. But this machine has been phenomenal. It's had a few problems here and there, but 750 hours, it's taught me how to tractor. It's taught me about tractors in general. It's gotten done all this work that I've needed to do. It's made me money. I couldn't have probably started this YouTube channel without a nice machine like this. But I way overspent on this. I needed something to move freight around with, and I needed something to help maintain the property. And I bought a package with a brand new tractor that was a premium brand, premium features, premium model within a brand, and got it with every attachment I could think of, all the features I could think of, and spent $53,000 on this tractor, when I might have had $3,000 in the bank. The smartest thing would have been to go buy a $3,000 tractor that was old. My friend Paul Case is always selling these old tractors. He'll buy them, do some work to them, and sell them back. I could have went and bought one of those and done the work and then save up some money. That's how you live a debt-free life, is just buy what you can afford. And if I'm in business, I need something now. I was in business. I was making my living with a product I made myself. I was having trouble moving materials around. I needed something. And the business was making money. So when you have a business that's making money, it feels easy to say the business can afford this. But you still have to make smart decisions. And I've overwhelmed myself with debt over a period of time. And I'm trying to fix it. I want to do this thing the right way. And the reason I look so favorably on some other brands is because you can get a machine with the majority of the features and capabilities I like about this for a lot less money. And there's an appeal to that. And it doesn't mean I don't like John Deere or anything else. It's just, I should have stayed within my means a little better, because debt causes you stress in life. Just a fact. Now for the big dog. I love this machine almost more than the other one, because this thing can do anything it wants. I mean, it's a powerful machine. And there's guys who run construction equipment for a living, and they're like, oh, you just have this little toy of a machine. Man, if you're a homeowner, this is the real deal right here. You can pick 6,000, 7,000 pounds up off the ground, carry 5,000 around. It's high flow. You can run a forestry mulcher, a trencher. I've got the offset boom mower. Like, you can do anything you want with a machine like this. And it's fun. It's fun to drive. It's heated and air conditioned. But I was in that same position I was talking about before, where I was making good money. I had a business that was thriving. And then I had a second business, which was making YouTube videos. And the YouTube videos were starting to pay me pretty well. I said, I'm not really living off the YouTube money. I'm living off the profits from my other business. The YouTube business can afford this skid steer because it will grow the YouTube channel. And it made sense to me at the time, but it sure doesn't now. I love this machine, but I spent $98,000, I think, is the amount I borrowed for this machine with 6 attachments. And I got that on 0%, and I haven't put a lot of hours on it as far as skid steers go. And I've been paying you know, paying that payment at 0% interest for, what is it, a year and a half now, and got some equity in it. But my friend Paul Case, he needs a skid steer. They've got between him and his son, I think they've got 2 skid steers and like 40 tractors. I don't know. They're all old, right? And he paid cash for them. And he probably has 6 machines that total cost what my 1 machine cost. So who's smart here? I think with a machine like this, you either need to be in a lot better financial position than I was, as in just having a lot of money in the bank that you've saved up, or you need to be making money with this machine full time. And I thought I was going to take this machine out full time and try to make a living with it. And part of me still wants to go out and make a living running these machines, but it's a little bit counterproductive there's a give and take between the videos I make money for and making money running the machines. And when I can do both, but there's another area of liability, expertise, all the times. It's like I said about the mowing business. You can make good money running a mowing business. People start with 1 mower and end up having 20 crews and do really well with it, or just bust it out themselves. And you can do that with a skid steer and a tractor. But it's not like, oh, you just buy the machine and you automatically have a profitable skid steer business. Like, I can do work on my own property and think, man, I did a good job and the machine's awesome and everything was great. But if I'd done that same job on someone else's property, they may feel like it was amateur work. And so there's a lot that goes into it. And I just have not been at a point right now where I'm making a living with this. So does it make sense for me to have it? Now, overall, regret's a funny thing because I would not change anything about where I'm at in life. Like, I have it made. Like, I play on these machines for a living. It's crazy. But I could have done that without so much debt. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Not that nobody should go finance a tractor. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just real life. Telling you where I'm at. Telling you what I think about the equipment I have and buying equipment on debt and the peace of mind that comes with the idea of having everything paid for. That's what I want to get to. I think it's just a great place to be. So, kind of a long video probably, but I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.